Welcome back to a new video of Ting Talks. Today we have Giovanni Bianco. He's in the third year of data science bachelor student at Bocconi, currently in exchange at the University of Technology, Sydney, attending master courses in AI and applied mathematics.
Yeah.
During the past years, he developed a deep interest in mathematics, computer science, and artificial intelligence, which led to the transition from the course International Economics and the management to economics and computer science. Giovanni will tell us about more about that and about Bocconi that has become a popular university among
Okay.
students. Welcome, Giovanni.
Hello, thank you so much for this introduction. He was very good at describing that. Yeah, so today I'm gonna give you a little bit of an insight about how life as a Bocconi student is, and maybe you can get some insights and some useful information from this. Hope so.
Okay, so just to give like the first question, right? So why did you choose Bocconi to study?
So basically, in Italy, when you want to do something that is a bit more ambitious and you have like some, you want to have to do something big, let's say, you go to Bocconi. Like Bocconi is seen as like the place where to go if you want to do something great. It's a place where a lot of people, a lot of famous people, a lot of important entrepreneurs and like politicians and people from the highest classes in Italy go. It has a very strong reputation. So like when you're in high school and you want to do something, then you at least try the test and then you see how it goes because it's pretty hard to enter from high, at least for Italians. I think for international, it's a little bit easier. But yeah, for Italians, that's probably the most competitive university that we have. And so yeah, when I was in my fourth year of high school, I was like, yeah, let's try that. Let's see what happens. And I did the test, and it went well. So actually, I didn't really know what I was gonna study. I didn't know what management was. I didn't know what economics was because in high school we don't study that. But yeah, I was interested in maybe start a business, maybe work in consulting, finance. I didn't know exactly. So Bocconi was a great school, so I got in. I also did the test for Politecnico of Milan. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a very good
No.
school for engineering. And I also got into that school, but in that moment I was like, no, I want to go to Bocconi. I want also because my course was in English. It was international economics and management. It was an English course. So it's like, yeah, I would have the possibility to improve my English, to meet people from all over the world. And that's why I chose. It was a very not a very thought choice. It was pretty instinctive. I just liked that and I went there. Going back, I would have probably taken more time to understand what to do. Because yeah, at the end I had to change course because I didn't really like what I was doing. But yeah, that was my story. Don't do like me. Maybe before starting a university degree, try to know what was gonna happen and what you're gonna study.
So basically, Bocconi is like viewed as this like the Godfather, right, in Italy, like
Yes. Yeah, it's like
the big.
Harvard for America. Like
Yeah,
if you
exactly,
want to do
exactly.
something, you go there. And if you
So
want to
can
stay in Italy, of course.
oh yeah, yeah. Oh, in Italy is such an amazing place. I love it. Um, so can you please tell us about your experience studying there? How you the experience studying there and stuff.
Sure. So, I had very high expectations because as I said before, it's very hard to enter. So you're supposed to be only with the best students in the
No,
world.
yeah, of course.
So
Yeah.
like my expectations were extremely high. So I went there with this idea. I was like, yeah, everyone is going to be so good. I don't know if it's going to be enough. But then once I arrived there, my expectation got a little bit disappointed because the level was still pretty high, but not as high as I expected. It's not Harvard. It's still like a good university, but not that competitive.
Mm, yeah.
And especially because I was doing a management course, probably mainly because of that. So while the first year is still pretty hard, we have two math exams that are very theoretical, very rigorous. Like they're probably more rigorous than many math courses in some math degrees in some other universities because I have friends. I'm from Genova. I have friends that studied in Genova, And I can say that even if my course was international economics and management, our math courses were more rigorous than courses that we're doing in the Bachelor of Mathematics. So this is good. Um, and yeah, so first semester we have three courses. That is Math 1, Microeconomics, and Management. And in these three courses, I was like, math, I loved it so much. Microeconomics, so, not so much interesting to me. And management was nice, but a little bit common sense. We were studying very obvious things. So I was like, yeah, that's nice to know, but I already knew that.
Yeah, it's like okay.
So second semester, we had Math 2, Computer Science, Macroeconomics, and Legal System. And between all of them, again, Math 2, it was so interesting. Legal system, something about the legal system, just like an introduction to some, you know, norms, a little bit of private law, some tort law, but very introductory, like not so much in depth. And then macroeconomics, it was the subject that made me discover that I didn't want to do economics. I absolutely didn't like microeconomics. And I was like, yeah, everyone like in my class, everyone was like loved that subject. And they're like, oh, this is what I want to do. And I was like, no, I don't like that. So I started to think maybe this is not the right degree for me. But yeah, this is like my first approach to Bocconi. In terms of environment, I have to say that it's pretty competitive at the end. You see that everyone, like there are some people that do a lot. So there is this group of people that are really invested in their career, and they literally are always doing something great. And it can happen that sometimes you just can feel left behind, and you're like, you keep doing so much, you do as much as you can, but there is always someone that does more than you. And so these are like two consequences. The first one is that you're always pushed to improve. So like you will never be saying, okay, I'm good enough, that's it, I don't need to do more, but you will always have to work more to keep the same pace as the others. But the downside is that it's very, very competitive. So for me, the first 2 years have been like a marathon, always running, always trying to do more, never resting. If I was resting, I was feeling guilty because you should do more. So this is the downside. But I can say that after 2 years, I learned so much. I literally became much better than I was before. I acquired a lot of skills, so probably it's worth it. That's probably as a university should be, because like I think university should also be a period in your life where you like grow, make experiences, but especially if you're enrolled in a very competitive and serious university, then you want to study, you want to learn. So for that, Bocconi is great. And I mean, maybe later I can also talk about the difference between the two courses I'm following, because it's pretty different in the way you approach them. What else can I say? Give me some hints.
So as you said about your expectations, right? Like how high they were.
Yeah.
So say you were disappointed, or you're just like, ah, okay, I didn't meet the expectations.
So it's not like disappointed, because more than expectations was how I was picturing the university. So I was picturing it as a place for only genius and people like extremely smart, not comparable to anyone I knew before. And this was of course not matched, because I mean they're still people. They're good students, but they're not gods. They're not geniuses.
Yeah.
So you
Uh-huh.
you can make, like, the point was, you can do it. Don't believe that it's just for people superior or incredible, because it's absolutely normal people. And there are some, like a few people that are really incredible, that you will be like, wow, they're great. But the 90% are just gonna be normal people, and that's fine. So that's what I
Yeah.
meant. Like, you're not going to Harvard. You're not gonna be with I don't know, people that I don't even know if Harvard is like that. This is how now I imagine Harvard. So if I think about Harvard, and I think like geniuses, like
Oh
um,
yeah.
only yeah. That's what I
No,
meant.
like at the end, we're just like young adults just going to a university. So we're just basically human.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. That's the point. Yeah, it was me. I was just having a weird expectation of Bocconi because, as I said, in Italy, it's perceived as something incredible, you know.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
do you think for international students is like the right place to go or no?
so it depends a lot. Depends a lot on what are your expectations. Like, what do you want to find in a university?
So like I don't know, like some people they would like to see like the place that they live in. So in Milan maybe is a good place. The course they're taking, I don't know, like what from your experience, do you think it's the right place for international students?
Let's say that you're an international student and you want to live in Italy. Okay. So if you want to just enjoy the country and have the Italian experience, it may be a good place, maybe not the best in my opinion, because it's a very hard university. So you will spend, at least if you want to be a good student, so you can also just enroll and then have a bit of fun and just pass the exams. There are many people who do it. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to excel, you it's gonna take like all your time. You will have to study constantly. Maybe you will have some free time during the weekends, but if you're really invested in what you're doing, you're gonna spend that free time to study and to do projects and to get involved into the associations. So at the end, you will have a very little time to travel and just enjoy the place. So this is my opinion. So if you want to excel in university and explore Italy, probably not the best choice. Maybe go to a normal, like not a private, just a common university, a public one, and there you're gonna have much more free time, because we have to say that Bocconi, like in Bocconi, the courses are very tough, very hard. So probably not the best place to just have fun and explore the country. Second possibility, if you want to stay in Europe and have a very good, like in especially theoretical education, then Bocconi is great. If you want to do like economics, quant economics, data science, AI, in a very rigorous university that you know that you go out and you like probably you're gonna be one of the best in the world, then I think Bocconi could be a very good choice. But you must be very theoretically oriented, because also if you prefer something more practical, then it's not the right place.
Hmm.
That's my idea, because it's very like
Okay.
with a lot of theory in anything. Even in management, you can expect management as something like practical, interacting with people. But in Bocconi, it's not going to be like that. You're going to study all the principles or the techniques, how to do that. Not to speak about economics. Like economics is tackled in a very serious, quantitative, and rigorous way. So you will have to really study a lot.
Okay. So as you said, you changed from economics to computer science. So um what what like inspired you to make this shift in your academic career?
Okay, I think this is very interesting. So as I said before, in my first year, the course that made me discover that I didn't want to do economics was macroeconomics, because I found myself completely not interested in those kind of topics. As I said, when I chose economics, I had no idea what economics was. And when I discovered that it was actually understanding how some behaviors, some things that happen influence other behaviors and other things that happen, I was not that interested in that. So I didn't like the political way in which it's tackled. I didn't like to see the things from a very wide perspective, but I preferred something uh, more micro in terms, but not like microeconomics, but just knowing exactly that there are some rules in the game, and whatever you do, the rules are going to be followed. And this is something that I found in mathematics, because for the way we do it in Bocconi, we just start from the most basic axioms, just the basic rules, and then we prove anything else. So you start from the basics and you're gonna build anything. They won't give you theorems and tell you, okay, this is it, apply in that way. They're gonna tell you this theorem exists because starting from this simple axiom, they made a series of logical statements that make you really understand why that theorem works. and I got so much fascinated. Like if you think that any scientific subjects is based on mathematics, and you have the possibility to discover why those things work and how other people arrived to that conclusion, I was like, wow. Anytime I was seeing a proof, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And yeah, so I got really fascinated by that. At the same time, with the computer science course, I discovered that computer science at the end coding. I had no idea what coding was when I enrolled in university because we don't study that in Italy. So I discovered that the same mental process that I was loving in mathematics, improving stuff, it was the exact same mental process that you have when you code. So you just have some syntax, and with that syntax, you're gonna build programs and things that work, that solve problems. And it was shocking to me. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. So in that moment, I was like, what should I do? Should I just quit anything, go to another university and start a course in mathematics, a course in computer science? I had no clue what to do. Yeah, this is the reason.
Nice. Um, so now moving away from Bocconi a bit. So how's your experience in the University of Technology in Sydney? How's it been so far?
Okay. It's been great. I love Sydney, like the city. In my opinion, I didn't say that before, but I think that Milan is not the best place where to live in Italy, because
Mm,
at least not for how internationals perceive Italy. So I have many international friends, and many of them got disappointed by Milan because probably you imagine that to be like the most fancy, nice city in Italy, but it's not. It's actually pretty sad, pretty gray, rainy, and the majority of the Italians don't actually like Milan, and they go there just to work or for their careers because it's the place where, like in Italy, if you want to have a career, you have to go to Milan, but you won't have the best lifestyle in the world. So I don't love Milan. Compared to that, Sydney is probably the place with the best lifestyle in the world. So it's always sunny. There is the beach 30 minutes away. People are so nice. So I think that in terms of the city, I love it so much. In terms of the university, so facilities speaking, incredible. Buildings are huge, so modern. You have like a lot of PCs, a lot of laptops, any kind of resource that you can ask for, you have it. There are like anything, absolutely anything. So many events. They give free food 2 days per week. So like if you want to make a comparison between like in terms of facilities between Sydney and Bocconi, Sydney is better. I have to say the truth. But
mhm.
in terms of the courses, I think there is no comparison because I'm not liking the way that the courses are done here because they're very superficial, like so much superficial. And all what I loved in Bocconi, that was the rigorous improving anything, giving you all the passages to say, okay, this works. Why? Here they don't tell you. Here they just tell you, okay, this is the rule. You can apply it. Why it works, you will never know.
Mhm.
That's it.
Okay.
So in terms of quality and depth of the courses, I'm not loving it too much. It's very practical, so I'm making so many projects. I'm actually doing stuff, but some of them they don't explain you why they works. Actually, the majority of them. So if you want to know more, you have to study by yourself, and they won't give you the material.
So are you into more practical or theoretical
I have
approach?
theory.
What?
I think I want to do the researcher. So I want to know, like, I also like to apply things, but before applying them, I want to have a very good understanding of how those things work. And this is
Mhm.
the main difference because they probably, in terms of also coding, let's talk about computer science. Let's talk about machine learning. I don't know how much you know about machine learning, but there are some algorithms that are mainly based on some mathematics. So if you want to see why some of these works, you will have to prove a lot of things and see what's the mathematical reasoning behind. So in Bocconi, they only told us the math behind, and they didn't actually teach us like very in depth how to apply them. So we know what the algorithm does, and then it's going to be up to us to see how to apply it. In here, they don't explain you how the algorithm works. There is no math. They only tell you how to apply that.
Mm.
So that's the main difference. And yeah, so here we're doing more projects, more things, but I prefer to understand why things work, and then I will later see how to apply it by myself. I don't know if I answered your
So
question.
no, no, that was a good. It's your opinion. I was asking for because I think a lot of like students and especially like me and stuff. I'm in 11th grade, so I'm still learning
Hmm.
if I prefer more practical or more theory. So it's very good to hear from someone like their experience with these both areas since you have since in Bocconi was more theoretical, but in Sydney is more practical. So yeah, it's very
Yeah,
good.
I
Yeah,
also before coming here, I was very interested in understanding the difference because everyone was telling me, yeah, Bocconi is very theoretical, but if you go abroad, it's gonna be much more practical. And I was like, what does it mean? Like, what does it mean more practical, more applied? And now I actually understood it. And the main difference is they probably won't tell you why some algorithm works, how to build them, but they will tell you, okay, if you apply that in this context, then you can have this result. And that's the main focus. So the majority of the tests here are just making assignments where you apply the code, they give you the code. You maybe do some small changements to adjust it to the context. Then you apply it, and then you make a report analyzing the results of this application. So this is the main focus here. While in Bocconi, you will have a final exam where they ask you how does this algorithm works. So prove me and explain me mathematically what this algorithm does. That's the main difference.
so, in your experience, what is the best options to live like around the areas, like in Sydney or in Milan, to sleep on the dorms or to rent an apartment? Like, what's your opinion?
I will start from Sydney because I'm staying in a student residence, not the official one of the UTS. But if you have the possibility to come here, for sure apply to the residence of UTS. It's called Yuramudang. It's the cheapest accommodation they have. It's the best in terms of facilities, comfort, anything, lifestyle, and it's very central to anything. So if you come to Sydney, just go to Yuramudang, and that's the best thing to do. Otherwise, I'm staying in a student residence. I spend more than I would spend if I stayed in Yuramudang. I applied for it, but there is a very limited number of spots, so I'm paying more. It's still good. I'm staying in Escape, but if you have the possibility, just go there. Just
Mhm.
take the UTS residence.
But in Bocconi,
Um, in Bocconi, instead, there are many residences, but here the choice is not that straightforward because now like the prices are competitive, but also renting an apartment could be probably a little bit cheaper, I think. Some people don't like too much some of the residences because some of them may be a bit far. The facilities are not that great in all of them.
mm,
There are many. There are many. There are like 6, 7 residences. The closest one is Bligny. That is pretty nice. I think I will apply for that for the next semester. It's very close to the university. It's like absolutely like that. Like you go down from the residence and you're in front of the university, so you just enter. Mm, and that one is pretty good, yet expensive. Then there is Castiglioni, that there is the new residence they built a few years ago. Um, and it's in the other campus, but it's a bit farther from like compared to Bligny because the new campus is mainly used for the MBAs, so not for the bachelors. So you will
okay.
probably prefer to be in Bligny, but also Castiglione is very nice, like in terms of architecture and in terms of design. That's probably the most beautiful one. Then there are others that are a bit more far away, for example, Spadolini and Dubini. I know people that hate them. I know people that love them. I don't live there, so I can't give exactly like my experience. But it's definitely nice to give a look at them and then decide by yourself. Uh, because as I said, like some people just say, "Oh, that's the best residence ever." Others say that maybe it could be better. So there is a different opinions.
So, just to end the talk today, to finalize, can you give any last words of advice for high schoolers preparing to apply for any university?
Any university. Okay, no, for
Yeah.
sure, make an informed choice. So don't start. I when I started, I was like, I never even considered computer science. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what coding was. I had this idea of some, some hacker with the hood, just in the dark typing stuff. So I didn't even consider it because I didn't know what it was. If you can do it, like try to explore all the fields, all the possible fields, even the ones that you like that you're not really interested in because maybe you just don't know enough about them, and then they can become the best field for you. So that's absolutely so important. Try maybe to watch videos on YouTube. There are so many resources. Try to talk with people that do those kind of jobs or those kind of degrees. Try to maybe, for example, if you just go to MIT, open source, they're going to be full of courses from the university. Even if you don't understand exactly what's going on, just give it a look and maybe it's going to give you some hints. So this is probably the most important thing you can do. Second choice, don't like don't just choose a university and go there as I did because I was like I will go to Bocconi, that's it. But you can also try to explore different places, uh, also abroad, if you feel ready enough. Because like for example now for masters I want to go abroad, but when I was in high school I probably was not ready to just leave my country and go abroad. But if you feel that you can do it, don't be scared about that, because then it's pretty easy to like just get used with speaking English and making new friends, so it's not going to be a problem for that. uh, Third advice, don't underestimate yourselves, because maybe there are some universities that you think that are just so good for you, and that like you won't be enough for that, but give it a try, like even if it seems impossible that you get in, try, and maybe you're gonna have some surprises and you're gonna finish in the best place in the world. This is probably most very, very important. Like that's something that I learned, as I said before, like staying here in Bocconi. Now for masters I'm gonna apply to wherever with no limits. I'm gonna apply to all the best schools because I won't underestimate myself anymore, and you should do the same. So these are the best suggestions I can give you.
Look, thank you so much for your time and for coming here and sharing your experience in the University of Sydney and Bocconi and the insights, of course. So we're gonna wrap up the episode here. Okay, guys, see you next time. Bye bye.